Welcome again to 老校长的节目, The Old Principal. I am the Old Principal, and we'll tell another story. I don't know where this story came from, but it's an interesting story, and I think you will enjoy it. For sure, you'll learn a little bit about the history or the way the culture was in the early times of America. So, the lesson will be the timber wolf. The timber wolf, okay, 大灰狼, okay, and this is lesson number 230. So, let's listen to the story and I'll be right back.
Story 230, The Timber Wolf. Joan and David lived on a homestead in Minnesota with their parents in the late 1800s. Their house was a log cabin in a large forest. One day, Pa came into the house and announced, "A teacher has been hired for the schoolhouse." Joan and David were immediately interested. "It's only a mile and a half, so I guess the two of you can go." "It's not far. We've been there before, haven't we, David?" "Yeah, when our cousins were here. We went through the woods to the school," returned David. "Good," replied Pa. "I'd hoped that you'd both be able to go." School soon started, and the children went every day. They followed the wagon roads through the woods. Occasionally, they'd hear a wolf baying in the distance. The sound sent chills up Joan's spine, but David was with her, so she didn't worry. Then, one day in late fall, David stayed after school to finish his lessons. Joan decided to go home by herself. She'd gone about halfway when she heard a growl. A timber wolf stepped out of the woods and began to follow her. She knew she shouldn't run, so she kept walking even though her legs were shaky. Joan prayed out loud. She talked about her brother and recited her schoolwork. The wolf stayed several feet behind, but continued to follow. "Perhaps my talking will keep him from getting too close," Joan said. She kept talking. The wolf kept his distance. As Joan neared home, she heard her pa chopping wood. "Pa! Pa!" she shouted. "A wolf is following me!" Pa looked up, saw the huge wolf following his little girl, dropped his axe, and grabbed his gun. With one shot, he felled the wolf. As Pa ran to meet her, Joan flew into his arms. Relief and joy filled her heart as she cried on his shoulder.
Okay, here we go. We're ready to begin the story about the timber wolf. Joan and David lived on a homestead in Minnesota. Minnesota州的一个 homestead. Homestead is a farm. It always starts as a farm, a 农场. Actually, a homestead, what happens is the government will give you a free piece of land, and if you 开垦, and you improve it, then after a certain amount of time, it becomes yours. So, 农场 is a good translation. And this is Minnesota. And Joan and David, their children, with their parents, in the late 1800s. So, 这个19世纪的末了, okay, the late 1800s. Their house was a log cabin in a large forest. Okay, a forest is 森林, Okay? Sometimes you say 树林, 森林, woods, forest. These are interchangeable words. A log cabin. Okay? Okay, a cabin usually is a 小屋, right? Okay? But sometimes it can be big. And this one was made out of 原木, logs. 原木, logs. Going on. One day, Pa. Okay, gotta understand Pa and Ma. Pa is dad. Ma is mom. Okay, dad and mom. 父亲, 母亲. Okay, so, but in the good old days, long time ago, they said Pa and Ma. Some people did, of course. One day, Pa, that's the dad, came into the house and announced, 宣布, a teacher has been hired for the schoolhouse. Now, schoolhouse 是一个学校. In those days, a schoolhouse was very, very small. Nowadays, we just say school, right? But schoolhouse is usually one room. Okay? In fact, we often say one room schoolhouse. Okay? 但是这个真正的是一个学校. So, a teacher has been hired. 被聘请做学校的老师，聘请的 hired for. Going on. Jonah and David were immediately interested. 他们马上有兴趣 interested. It's only a mile and a half, so I guess the two of you can go. Now, this is the father speaking. It's only a mile and a half. A mile and a half, a mile and a half. How long is that? A mile is 1.6公里, okay? 1.6 kilometers. So it's about 2.5 kilometers. It's only 2.5 kilometers, although miles is 英里, right? But if you're thinking in kilometers, then we can do that. I guess the two of you can go. 我猜你们两位都可以去上学. Going on. Okay, and then the little girl speaks up. It's not far. 不是太远. We've been there before, haven't we, David? 我们已经去过那个地方。他就是跟他的哥哥David 说了，我们已经去过，对不对 ？Okay, we've been there before, haven't we? 对不对 ？Okay, and the David, the brother, the older brother, said, when our cousins were here, our cousins, 堂兄弟、姐妹等等。Okay, when our cousins were here, 来拜访我们呢, we went through the woods to the school. Returned, 回答 David. We went through the woods. 我们穿过走过这个树林. So yes, we did do that when our relatives, 我们的亲戚来了. Go ahead. Good, replied Pa. So the father says, how? I'd hoped that you'd both be able to go. Now, this is very interesting, and I want you to note that these are contractions. Okay, they're actually two words in one. I had hoped that you would both be able to go. shorten, I'd hoped that both of you'd be able to go. I had hoped that both of you would be able to go. What does that mean? Okay, 我本来有这个希望，你们两个都可以上学。Okay, so 我本来 this idea here is 我本来想的就是这样。Go ahead. School soon started, and the children went every day. They followed the wagon road through the woods. School started, and the children went every day. They went to school, 每一天上学. And it says they followed the wagon trail, the wagon road through the woods. Okay, what is a wagon road? Okay, 那个车道 ，OK， 这个马车 ，in this case, it is a wagon road through the woods. So this is a 马车道. So it's a road. It just is 一条路, right? Occasionally they'd hear a wolf baying in the distance. 偶然 they'd hear a wolf baying. Okay, baying is 有一点这个喊叫. Okay, so a wolf, of course, 狼. Okay, and baying in the distance, 在远远的地方. So occasionally they'd hear the wolf, but not to worry. But the sounds sent chills up Joan's spine. Okay, now, first of all, maybe I need to get this. Okay, first of all, what is a spine? Okay, the spine is 背骨头. Okay, and chills. Now, you've heard of shivering, 颤抖, right? That's shivering. And sometimes chills. Chills is like shivering, 也是在发抖. It has no motion. 没有什么动作, nothing moves, okay? But it's a feeling, a coldness that goes up and down your backbone, 你的背骨头, up and down your spine. Okay, 背骨头. Okay, but that's Joan. She's the little girl. But David was with her, so she didn't worry. David, the older brother, was with her, so she didn't worry. 他不担心哥哥在旁边, so no problem. Going on. Then one day, then one day, in late fall, that means 秋天的比较晚一点啊. David stayed after school to finish up his lessons. David stayed after school, 留在学校，要做完他的功课. So he was staying after, well, that's good. Joan decided to go home by herself. 她一个人要回家. Now, how far is it? About 2.5 kilometers, about 1.5 miles. Okay, so, whoa. So she's going to go home alone. Going on. She'd gone about halfway. So she has walked about halfway alone through the woods, 穿过这个树林, when she heard a growl. the growl of a timber wolf. A timber wolf stepped out of the woods and began to follow her. 大灰狼就开始跟着他。哇，好可怕！ Going on. She knew she shouldn't run. Because if you run, what happens? If you run, then you show the wolf that you are afraid, and the wolf will chase you and then, of course, hurt you, probably kill you. So she knew she shouldn't run. Don't run. So she kept on walking, 保持走路. Even though her legs were shaky. Have you ever had shaky legs? 你的腿就颤抖. Okay, shaking. Sometimes we say our knees are 相碰. Okay, so she is nervous. Her legs are shaking, but she is walking with purpose. She has a reason. She's going straight forward. She is not going to run. But, going on, Joan prayed out loud. So now she's going to start using her voice. She prayed out loud. Okay, 大声 okay, 讲出来祷告. Okay, but she wasn't just praying to God, she was talking about her brother. She was talking all out loud. 有声音的. She was talking out loud. She was talking about her brother. She was reciting 背她的功课. Okay, so she was doing this all out loud. Okay, obviously, the timber wolf could hear her. Okay, but the wolf stayed several feet behind, but continued to follow. Now, I want you to notice that the wolf is not a long ways away. The wolf is only a few feet away. Okay, this is 1 foot, 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet. Can you imagine that? Here is a fierce, wild animal, 这个野兽, and he is only 4 feet away. Can you imagine that? Wow. Okay, going on. Perhaps my talking will keep him from getting too close. So this is her way of thinking. Maybe if I keep talking, praying, talking, reciting my lessons, doing all of this out loud, then the timber wolf will not come any closer. Well, already the timber wolf is very close. Very close. Okay, Joan said, she kept talking. The wolf kept his distance. Now, what does it mean to keep one's distance? This is a good English word. To 保持距离. Okay? So, the wolf kept his distance. 这个大灰狼, okay, what did he do? 他保持距离. In other words, he's keeping his distance. He's not getting closer, he's keeping his distance. Going on. Ah, man. If I were Joan, my heart would go bong bong tiao. I mean, I would not be, I would be very, very nervous. As she neared home, she heard her pa chopping wood, 切那个木材. Her father, remember what we said, Pa is her father. 她靠近家, she heard her father, who was outside. The father was outside, and he is 砍木材, 切这个木材. And she, of course, she's been talking, so she said, Pa, Pa, Dad, Dad. She shouted, 大喊叫, a wolf is following me. A wolf is following me. 有一只狼跟着我. Now, remember, now if you say following, you don't know how much. But in this story, the wolf, the big wolf, is very, very close. Very close. 4, 5 feet. He just said a few feet. I mean, you can even hear it breathe. It's so close. A wolf is following me. Going on. Pa looked up. 他就抬头看, and he saw a huge, 巨大的, huge wolf, 狼, following his little girl. He dropped his axe. Now, it doesn't mean that he just put his axe down. He dropped it, 就掉在, or even 丢在地上. He dropped his 斧头, axe. Okay? And he grabbed his gun. Now, remember, this is a long, long time ago, and people, this is a wild area. 不是很安全的. I mean, you're not in a city. You're out in the countryside. You're out in the woods. So, the adults, they carried guns because of timber wolves or anything else. So he dropped his axe, he grabbed his gun because he had his gun right beside him. 这拿了枪啊. And with one shot, 开了一次, with one shot, he felled the wolf. With one shot, 就开了枪, 开了一次. So he felled the wolf. Now, what does it mean to fall? Well, fall, you know what fall is. 这个掉下来 or 倒下来, that's fall, okay? But you can also use it as a verb. He felled it. He felled. That is, he killed the wolf, and the wolf fell over. Okay, going on. As Pa ran to meet her, Joan flew into his arms. Relief and joy filled her heart as she cried on his shoulder. As Pa ran to meet her, of course, her father ran to meet her. Joan flew into his arms. What does it mean to fly into your arms? Of course, human beings can't fly. Can you fly? Well, not really. But when it means to fly into his arms, he had his arms outstretched, and 他跳上去, flew into his arms. So the father's 拥抱着他, okay? Now, relief, 放松, sometimes 放轻松, and joy, 喜乐, filled her heart. What does it mean to fill her heart? That means that she was a very happy, 心呢满满的这个快乐、喜乐 joy and relief. She cried on his shoulder. So she cried on his 肩膀上. So here's the little girl, and she has her head on his shoulder, 肩膀, and she is crying. So that's the end of the story as we wrote it. So what can we learn from this story? Probably the most important thing is if your brother stays after school, you better stay after school too. The second thing you learn, at least I learned, is I thank God that He protects us. 谢谢神他的保护. And the little girl prayed, remember? Okay, well, here we have an email address. Our email address is theoldprinciple@gmail.com. Our website is www.theoldprinciple.org. Hey, it's been great sharing another story with you. And I hope that your listening ability is getting better and better. You know, we've done several hundred of these stories already. We have a lot more to go to. Hey, I hope you'll join us next time and bring a friend. Until then, bye-bye.